What's up, guys? It's your boy Dark Sage back with another video, and today we finna be doing What If Deku Was the God of Salt Part 1. But before we get into the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe because it'll help a young dude out. But we won't talk about that. So let's get into the video. We see a young boy, 14 years old at most. He's running for his life because there's a big-ass Nomu chasing after him. Shigaraki is laughing, and his classmates are smiling. And they say, "This is what you get, you damn villain," while they're fighting all the other villains that are there. If you don't know, they're at the USJ. And Deku, he was caught, seemingly caught, giving information to fucking the League of Villains. And the person who caught him was none other than All Might, who ended up taking Deku's power away. And while Deku's running, he's thinking to himself, fuck. Why does my life have to go like this? I did nothing to deserve this. Nothing. I did nothing but help them. And he's still running for his life. But the Nomu catches him and slams Deku's head into the ground. And he just keeps punching and punching and punching Deku until Deku's face is no longer recognizable. And so, once they all get done fucking destroying the villains, the only people that walk over to see if Deku is alright are Todoroki, fucking Bakugo, Jiro, Kirishima, and that's it. And everybody else is looking at Deku. Well, Aizawa, he Aizawa, cool dude. Like Aizawa, he didn't give a fuck. But everybody else is basically looking at Deku like that villain deserved to die. He's the reason that our teacher is hurt. And so, fucking Bakugo and Todoroki try to take Deku's body back to the school, but none of the other kids allow it. And so, while Deku's seemingly dead, in his mind, Deku sees a tall boy, or a tall teenager. This teenager would happen to be you, from Seraph of the End. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's a good-ass anime. But Yu looks at Deku and he says, "Kid, I betrayed a lot of people in my time. And I did it for power, just so I could save them. But you've been betrayed. Just like me." And Yu says, "Would you like my power?" And Deku says, "What are you talking about?" And Yu says, "Would you like my power? I see that you want to get revenge, don't you?" And Deku says, "More than anything, I want revenge. I swear, all those bastards who just sat there and laughed at me, I want revenge." And this is when Yu says, "Well then, okay." And he says, "Grab my hand." And Deku takes Yu's hand, and they fuse together, making Deku's hair fucking black. And his eyes... Hold on. Alright, y'all, I'm back. But, yeah. Deku's hair is black. and his eyes are black and yellow. And Deku looks at himself in the mirror and he says, "Wow, I feel powerful. What are my abilities?" And Yu says, "Well, for starters, you're the god of salt." And Deku says, What? Salt? That sounds weird. What do you mean?" And fucking Yu says, "If you want, anything you touch can turn into salt." And Deku says, "Wow, that's amazing." Then he fucking also says, "You can bear salt to your will. You can basically do anything with salt. It doesn't matter." And Deku says, "Oh, really?" And so Yu starts training Deku on his power. And Deku can only control about we'll say 60% of it. And so once Deku is done training, his body was left in an alleyway. His hair, his face, his whole body structure is changed. Deku now looks like you. And hold on, I'm gonna get a regular picture. Yeah, I'm sorry for pausing. But when Deku's not using the fucking King of Salt form, Deku will look like this. And so Deku's eyes swing open. And he looks around. And he says, "Well, where am I?" And he gets up and he walks to the nearest street. And he sees a lady. Well, she's random. She doesn't deserve a name. Peasant. But yeah, he sees a random lady. And she says, Are you lost, kid?" And Deku says, "Yes, ma'am. Can you please point me to the directions of UA High School?" And she gives Deku the directions, and he walks there. Fast forward 1 hour, Deku gets to the school. And Deku has been dead, or seemingly dead, for 5 months. And in this 5 months, fucking Nezu already knew Deku was innocent, but all of the teachers, they disagreed. And so Deku, well, not Deku, Bakugo and Todoroki, Jiro, and Kirishima, they all came up with proof that Deku is innocent. And so now everybody believes that Deku is truly innocent, but it's almost too late for that. And so Deku, he pulls up at the school and he kicks in the doors. Hell no, this nigga trying to boot me offline. He ain't slick. But sorry. Bro. But yeah. Deku kicks in the doors and all the fucking pro heroes, they immediately come to the front entrance of the school because an alarm goes off. And so all the heroes come through and they're like, "Who are you?" And Deku says, "Well then, you can just call me the Salt King." And they all look at him and say, What? What are you talking about? Who are you, villain?" And Deku says, "My name is Izuku Midoriya." And Deku just walks past them. All of them are in shock. And they're like, Izuku? He didn't look like that before. And Deku looks back and smiles and says, "What, before I died?" And they all feel guilt because they just sat there and let that nigga die. I mean, if somebody just sat there and let me die, I know I'd be pretty pissed. But yeah. So Deku, he walks to Nezu's office. And Deku looks at Nezu and says, "You little rat, I knew that you knew that I was innocent." And Nezu smiles and says, "Izuku, I'm sorry. And Deku starts laughing. Sorry for what? Training a bunch of villains, non-heroes, pieces of garbage. And Nezu, he smiles nervously. And Deku laughs at this. And Nezu says, "Well, what are you doing here?" And Deku looks at him and says, "I have power." And Nezu says, "What? What are you talking about?" And Deku, he goes into his fucking god form. And he says, This is the power of the gods." And God is in heaven laughing his ass off. I mean, he's like, they fuck with that nigga. Now they all finna die. And so Deku is like, "I have power. Immense power. Nobody in this world can stop me." And Nezu was like, "Slow your roll now. Don't make me call All Might in here, because you know he will beat your bitch ass." And Deku looks at him and says, "Do it. Call All Might. See if I care." And Nezu calls All Might in. And fucking All Might, he's been drinking, beating himself up, fucking calling himself a loser. He's been downing himself. All Might's been depressed since he did that to Midoriya. And once he sees Midoriya, he tries to run over and hug him. But all the salt around him, all the salt in the air, it repels fucking All Might. And Deku says, "If you so much as dare touch me, I'll slit your throat." And this shocks Nezu and All Might, because, like, I mean, I'd be hella scared if a nigga looking like a demon said he was finna slit my shit. But, yeah, we won't talk about it. So, Deku walks over All Might and says, "You took power away from me, but I have gained my own, and it is immense. Of course, I have to thank you for that." And All Might says, "Thank me? Why are you thanking me?" And Deku looks at him and says, "Not you, you fucking idiot. There's a human being, or a spirit. His name is you." And Deku says, "Here, I'll let you meet him." And Deku forms a salt clone. And you spirit is transmitted into that salt clone. And you is looking at all of them. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Deku's other half. You." And they both start laughing. "Well, back to business. You, come back into my body, please." And you says, "With pleasure, Deku." And you goes back in. And Deku says, "I'm going to be going back to class 1A. Only for the sports festival, that is. And then I want you to give me my hero license. Because, you know, I can kill All Might and all. And if you don't agree to this, I'll just join the villains. Like I was originally going to do, once you guys betrayed me." And Nezu agrees to Deku's terms. And Deku, he walks out of Nezu's office and starts walking down the hallway. Deku starts whistling. And all the windows are breaking. And once he gets to class 1A, he punches the door. And it opens. And all of them, and I do mean all of them, are looking at fucking Deku. And Deku says, "Whoa, hi. My name is Izuku Midoriya. don't you all know me? And everybody is shocked because they thought he was dead. But no, my nigga, he's not dead. And he wants revenge. He'll get it. But I mean, like, not yet. Not yet. And so, Deku says, thank you guys for letting me die. I actually like the fact that you let me die. Because it made me gain this unimmeasurable power. And Uraraka goes up to fucking Deku and is like, Deku, we're so sorry. We didn't mean to let him do that. And Deku says, You sat there. You all laughed at me. The only ones that were generally caring for me were fucking Jiro, Kirishima, Bakugo, and Todoroki. Those were the only people. And I mean, of course our teacher was. But he was on the verge of death. And so Deku looks at all of them with the death glare. And he says, you guys are no longer my friends. I consider you enemies. And if you dare talk to me, or approach me, or even think about me, I will kill somebody important to you. And this is when Mineta thinks, like, Deku's a bitch. He can't do any of that. And Deku isn't in his Demon King form. Well, not Demon King. I said Demon King. Salt King form right now. And so Deku looks like, well, you know, he looks like this. Until Deku senses what Mineta is thinking and he says, Mineta, your mother is dead. And Mineta is like, what are you talking about? You're standing right here. You can't kill her. Plus, she has a powerful quirk. Her balls protect her from anything. Pause. But, yeah. And Deku says, oh, do they? I recommend you go home right now. And once Mineta tries to walk out the classroom, Deku cuts his head off. And it rolls over to Deku. And Deku says, well then, you shall turn into a grain of salt. And he touches the head, and it forms into a grain of salt. And Deku laughs. All of you guys are weak. But Bakugo, Todoroki, Jiro, Kirishima, I'd like to thank you all for protecting me and thinking about me. You guys proved that I was innocent, even after death. Nezu told me all about it. Thank you. And Bakugo runs up to Deku and is like, you damn nerd. Where did you get this power from? And Deku says, well, I am now a god. And they all look at Deku confused. And Deku says, me? I'm the god of salt. And I can destroy anything and anyone. Including that pesky bitch All Might. And fucking Ida, he steps up and says, you should not be saying things like this. And you just killed our friend. You're a villain. And Deku looks at Ida and says, that useless shit was nothing to me. He deserved to die. And this is when Eraserhead says, take your seats, take your seats. And he sees Deku standing there. And he's like, damn, when the fuck did he get back? You know what? It doesn't matter. And Eraserhead scans the classroom and is like, shit, Mineta's gone. You know what? He's useless. It doesn't matter. And so, once they fucking sit down, Eraserhead says, we'll be going to the fucking sports festival in 2 days. Make sure you guys are prepared. And they get done with the rest of the day. Deku gets up and leaves the classroom. But Bakugo follows him. And Bakugo is like, what did you do to get this immense power, Deku? Tell me. And Deku says, you'll have to reach death to find that out. And Bakugo says, wait, what? Death? What are you talking about? And Deku just walks away. And so once he gets home, he opens the door, and Inko immediately tries to hit him with a frying pan. But she stops inches away from his face, and says, Izuku, is that you? And Izuku says, how did you know? And Inko looks at him and says, a mother could never forget the face of their baby. And she hugs Deku. And Deku says, I never die. Ever. And he sits down and explains what happened to him to his mom. And she's furious with Yue. She wants to pull him out. But Deku refuses. He says he'll get his payback at the sports festival. And so Inko agrees to this. And we're going to have a time skip of 2 days. Deku pull up to the school, and everybody is prepared for the UA Sports Festival. Deku is dressed like this, with a sword on his hip. And all the girls are looking at him and like, wow, he's cute. No homo. And Deku fucking walks to class 1A and is like, I'm ready. Let's get it on the road, shall we? I have people to kill. But I'm gonna leave it off here, cause like, I'm gonna do like 3 what ifs tomorrow. And if you guys want me to do any other types of what ifs, just leave them in the comments and I'll do them. But bye.